watch on digital FM 95.3 HD4. CBS Radio News. NASCAR, Bloomberg Markets, David Tulis, streaming strong at Noogaradio.com. Live on YouTube and Facebook. Nooga Radio, News Talk 92.7. Chattanooga Radio.
Thursday night sports talk with Sam Jordan here on Nooga Radio 92.7 and 95.3 FM HD4. Good evening to you. I'm your host, Sam Jordan. And big news coming out of Knoxville earlier today. Jeremy Pruitt, he's finally the chosen one for leading the University of Tennessee Vols football program. And a comparison that was given when I was watching on sports last night, he will make the 7th coach in the SEC that have came from being a defensive coordinator out of the, I think it's 14 schools in the SEC. So half of the SEC head coaches are defensive-minded head coaches. I thought that was a very interesting fact. So if you haven't heard, Tennessee hired Pruitt today. He'll be making right around $4 million a year for the next 5 to 6 years. And they're saying that possibly Hugh Freeze could be the next Vols offensive coordinator. Now, Hugh Freeze, I've known for a number of years from covering him in high school sports, and then when he went on later to become a offensive coordinator, and then eventually he was head coach at Arkansas State there in Jonesboro, and then he went down to Ole Miss, and then things kind of got a little messy down there, and he was resigned like 40 days before the start of this past season, and Matt Luke took over on the interim basis, and he ended up getting that interim tag taken off, and very deservedly so, taking the team to a 7-5 record. But meanwhile, Freeze, I guess, has been cleared of any wrongdoing that may have occurred at Ole Miss, and they're trying to put a lot of the blame on others. But as long as I've known Hugh Freeze, I think he's been a very reputable and upstanding individual. And if Tennessee does hire him as their offensive coordinator, I don't think they'd be doing a bad thing. But he's a very good offensive-minded individual. One thing that Tennessee was very lacking of this season, their offensive scheme just was not there. And, you hate to see anybody get let go, from coaching or in a job where you work at, no matter if it's just an everyday job or what. But, if it's not getting done properly, sometimes you have to go in a different direction. Now, I know there's been all kinds of speculation, and even though I would like to see it happen, with T. Martin, it apparently looks like T. Martin won't be coming to Knoxville, leaving USC to make the move back to his origins of where I just think that Florida State would give you a little bit more prestigious recognition on the resume. If that day ever comes where you want to leave and you feel like you've worn out the welcome, or you've done everything that you could possibly do, and just you've done everything you could. There's nothing else to give into the process. You sometimes will want to look to move on. I mean, I've done that over my career in broadcasting. It's no different in coaching. Nick Saban, he's coached in college. He's coached in the NFL. I think, his stint as the Miami Dolphins head coach probably wasn't the best situation for him, but I know there's been rumors about him being a top candidate for the New York Giants head coaching job. I really don't see Nick Saban leaving Tuscaloosa to go to New York and take over the Giants, who's got a major rebuild process underway. I just really don't see that happening. Just like John Gruden. Now, John Gruden might be an ideal candidate to take the Giants job. The Mara family, who owned the Giants for a long time, they're one of the longest ownership families in the NFL, just like the Rooney family over in Pittsburgh. They passed it along generation to generation. But that might be a high-profile job that Gruden might actually consider. So, something that just came down the wires here earlier this afternoon, and I didn't print anything out. I read the story that Disney has bought 21st Century Fox, and one of the divisions of 21st Century Fox that has been included in this deal. Now, I don't know whether Fox Television Network is a part of this or not, but the Fox regional sports networks, like Fox Sports Tennessee, Fox Sports Southeast, those are the two immediate ones that are near to us, especially with Fox Sports Tennessee, is now going to be a part of Disney. And they're looking at rebranding to make them ESPN Sports Southeast, or the other potential name would be ESPN Local Tennessee, because they want to make sure that they differentiate, the name, the Fox Sports name. If Fox Sports or Fox Television stays to itself, then they won't want to have that confusion. So we'll be seeing more and more ESPN channels. You've already got ESPN, the main channel. You got ESPN2, you got ESPNU. They've got, I think there's a couple, ESPN Deportes for the Spanish audience out there, that's available. But, having these regional sports networks, they've got Fox Sports Midwest. There's a few areas like in LA and New York where they've got different names. Like out in LA, it's Prime Sports. That's been a long name associated with regional sports television out on the West Coast. But, with that, even though ESPN has been trimming and trimming and trimming, maybe this explains why they're doing a lot of trimming. Now, they did say in the article that I read that they will be utilizing some of the main ESPN shows on the regional networks, and Fox has been doing that as well. So that's not a big surprise. But it's kind of interesting that, with all the cuts that ESPN's made, they've had 100 production and technical staffers that were let go here just recently. And earlier in the spring, I think it was April, they had cut about 150, which was a lot of their on-air talent. And they've been trying to retool SportsCenter because that's their flagship program. And they've been trying to retool that in the different day parts, throughout the broadcast day to make it a more interesting show, to say the least. And, sometimes you have to do that to keep relevant, fresh. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the current Fox Sports regional sports networks that are out there, like Fox Sports Tennessee. I don't expect to see, a lot of the sporting events that are live play-by-play events going away. That's on Fox Sports Tennessee when they change and become ESPN Sports Tennessee or ESPN Local Tennessee or whatever they're going to call it. But and at least that's one statement that Robert Iger, the chairman and president of Disney, made in a comment that there won't be any major changes, maybe a little rebranding, to say the least. So just giving you that heads up there. All right, one other note we want to pass along as well. Keon will be off until Tuesday. So we'll get you back into some of your favorite talk programs that you're used to hearing when Keon is off. But he's got to take care of some family situations. Has to go out of town. So we'll be with you until 7. We'll be back with you here tomorrow night as well with Sports Talk with Sam Jordan. Don't forget, bowl games will be getting underway next weekend. And, of course, we'll get into talking about the bowl games as we get closer to those particular dates. Next Saturday, everything will kick off in a big way with, I think, 4, 5, maybe 6 bowl games that will get underway on the 16th, next Saturday. So we haven't gotten rid of the football yet. And, of course, NFL football is in action tonight. We've got, let's see here, New Orleans, who's 9-3, traveling to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to take on Atlanta. New Orleans 9-3. They've been kind of hot lately. Atlanta, a little bit of a downslide, but they're still relevant, still in the hunt for the playoffs. So NFC battle tonight, NFC South, division rivals. So that'll be a good game. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's on Channel 3 tonight, WRCB. And that'll have the NBC sports crew. And I think Mike Tirico will be doing the play-by-play. Chris Collinsworth, who I think is a blowhard. He may be a great individual, but he just comes across being a big blowhard. Yeah, he's a former pro athlete. He played for the Cincinnati Bengals for the bulk of his career, if not all of it. So it's like once he went into the broadcast booth, it's like, hey, I know what I'm talking about here. You need to listen. Kind of, it's like, hey, just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Maybe you even think that about me. I don't know. But, we've been doing this for a while, but we never get to have an attitude like that. It just does not pay. A lot of NBA action on tap as well as the NHL. And we'll talk about those later on. There's some high school games going on tonight, a lot going on tomorrow. And last night we were talking about this, the East-West Classic tipping off tonight at East Hamilton. And then things will switch over on Saturday at Bradley Central High School. Schedule looking like this for tonight. Just getting underway here a little bit ago. Houston taking on East Hamilton in girls action. It's the only game going on tonight at East Hamilton. Then tomorrow things will kick off at noon with Notre Dame girls taking on East Hamilton. At 1:30, the Oak Haven boys will take on East Hamilton. At 3 o'clock, Arlington girls will take on Oak Ridge. At 4:30, Bolton boys will take on Bradley Central. Then at 6 o'clock, Houston girls will take on Bradley Central at 6. At 7:30, the Fayette Ware boys will take on Oak Ridge. And then on Saturday, when the games get switched over to Bradley Central High School, then games will get underway at 1:30 with Bolton boys taking on Oak Ridge, followed by 3 o'clock, Houston girls taking on Oak Ridge. At 4:30, Fayette Ware boys will take on East Hamilton. And then the final two games of the evening will have Bradley Central hosting the Arlington girls at 6 o'clock. And then at 7:30, the Oak Haven boys will take on Bradley Central and the Bears. Originally, the Fayette Ware girls team dropped out back over the weekend, this past weekend, and really caused a few issues, but Notre Dame's girls were able to help out. And according to East Hamilton girls coach Hunter Graymore in a published report on Wednesday in Chattanooga, that they were really appreciative of Notre Dame's gratefulness and appreciation for helping them out and adjusting the schedule due to the Fayette Ware girls not being able to compete for whatever reason. So let's see. 4 of the teams that are in the field reached the 2017 state tournament last season, being East Hamilton and Oak Ridge boys and the Houston and Oak Ridge girls making it into the state tournament last year. Eventual champion Memphis East whipped East Hamilton by 20 points in the quarterfinals, and Oak Ridge boys also lost to Memphis East 63-60 in the semifinals. Houston's girls reached the semifinals, and Oak Ridge was ousted in the quarterfinals. And in the year before, in 2016, Bradley's Bearettes and Oak Ridge's Lady Wildcats went to state, met in the semifinals, and Oak Ridge won that game before losing to Riverdale. In the title game, the Fayette Ware boys lost to eventual state champion Fulton in the semifinals. So evidently, some high-caliber teams kind of getting an early preview of some state tournament teams that are participating in the East-West Classic at East Hamilton that's underway right now, and also throughout the day tomorrow, and then over at Bradley Central on Saturday. So we wish all the local area teams the best of success in that tournament. While we're talking high school basketball, Notre Dame is taking on Grace Baptist tonight at Grace Baptist. Chattanooga Central's at Howard Tech. Ottawa is taking on Tyner Academy. So some games on tap for tonight. And then tomorrow, as we told you, with the East-West Classic, there's also other games going on with Cleveland traveling down to Soddy Daisy. Chattanooga Christian will be taking on Boyd Buchanan tomorrow. Eastridge at Chattanooga School of Arts and Sciences. Brainerd will be traveling to Hickson. Grace Christian taking on Silverdale Academy. And then Tyner taking on Columbia in action tomorrow night. So seems like the schedule is getting really juicy and sounds like a lot of exciting games going on besides what's going on with the East-West Tournament Classic going on. Chick-fil-A is the primary sponsor in that, but these other games that we mentioned here sound like some real dandies as well. So if you're looking to find some good high school action, well, we just mentioned those locations for you. All right, a score we got in from last night. Covenant loses to Emory in college basketball action, men's 80-73. So Covenant will be trying to change that course of direction, and we'll try to improve. They'll be back in action, I believe, over the weekend. And let's see here. UT Chattanooga, the Mocs, return to McKenzie Arena on Sunday at 1 o'clock, hosting Mark Price and the Charlotte 49ers. It's a doubleheader with the ladies facing Virginia Tech at 3:30. And both games will be broadcast on TV on ESPN3. Also, this is something that we want to pass along. It's Toys for Tots on Sunday's games. You bring a new toy donation for Toys for Tots to Sunday's game and get a buy one, get one free deal on tickets. They're at McKenzie Arena. Tickets are on sale, single game, many plans, all at all the usual places to buy tickets. You can also go to Gate 1 ticket office at McKenzie Arena during business hours. They are closed tomorrow, but they'll open at 5 p.m. on Saturday. And you can always call the McKenzie Arena ticket office at 423-266-MOX or 6627 during business hours. And like I said, they're closed tomorrow. They'll open at 5 p.m. on Saturday. You can also go online via gomox.com. And group tickets are available by calling 423-425-5470. So men's team hoping to get back on winning ways after losing to Marshall the other night. Right now, Chattanooga men's team's 4-5, Marshall's 6-3. So we'd like to hear from you at 423-800-8949. We still got a little bit of time before we go into our first break. You can always call us during the second break. And, of course, you can always give us comments on Facebook Live. Whatever your question may be, we're not afraid to answer it, and we'll try to answer it the best we can. What's your thoughts on Jeremy Pruitt being the new Tennessee Vols head football coach? He has been a part of 3 national championship teams, 2 at Alabama, 1 at Florida State, all as the defensive coordinator. And if he does bring Hugh Freeze aboard as an offensive coordinator, like what's being bantied about, Tennessee might not be an irrelevant team for too much longer. Just they've been very successful coaches, and now they are putting together a winning formula. Hopefully we'll be going back to the days of Philip Fulmer and bringing that winning attitude back up to Knoxville and representing our entire state of Tennessee in a great, positive way. And I'm sure that fans have been chattering about this all day long. Maybe you've got a comment. Call us up, 423-800-8949. Coming up here after the break. We've got a lot more to talk about here on Sports Talk with Sam Jordan on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM and 95.3 FM HD4. Back with more in a little bit.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader, Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM. 3, 2, 1. Chattanooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
New testimony in the case of Rayshawn Lowry, a man who's accused by prosecutors of beating a 3-year-old girl to death. He maintains his innocence, saying that she fell down the steps of the Econo Lodge on Bonnie Oaks Drive. His defense attorney says they're going to call in an expert witness to prove that her injuries are consistent with a fall. He was interviewed twice by police after the fact, and he told them both times that she fell and he did not harm her. Massage Heights at Northgate permanently closed its doors without warning, not even telling their employees that it happened. 23 people left without their jobs. According to WRCB, one of them lives paycheck to paycheck, has 2 daughters, and no husband. She told Channel 3 she doesn't know how she's going to get through the holidays. One employee found out that he was without a job via a friend on Facebook. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
Expect increasing clouds and milder weather out there through your nighttime. Could see a late shower or 2, lows into the lower 50s. Now for your Tuesday, becoming breezy with showers and thunder showers marching in from the west. Highs 60 to 62. Breezy much cooler for the midweek. Highs closer to 50. Experience the magic of the holidays with Rock City's Enchanted Garden of Lights. Create your one-of-a-kind adventure with dazzling views and almost 1 million colorful lights. Visit SeaRockCity.com for all of the magical details. And I'm Swargene 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Ward.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Hi, this is Sonia with the Mountain Oaks Weddings, Events, and Tea Room in Ottawa, located in the former James County Courthouse. Go back in style when you're planning your next event. Mountain Oaks is a full-service wedding venue and catering facility. No fuss, no mess, no cleanup when you schedule your next special event with Mountain Oaks. Leave the planning and the work to the experts, but take all the credit for your wonderful event. Call me, Sonia, at Mountain Oaks today at 423-238-9333 and leave the work to us.
423-238-9333 or stop by our location on Church Street in Ottawa.
Pulse Centers of Chattanooga offers non-medical solutions to your body's problems using a state-of-the-art technology called pulsed electromagnetic fields, PEMF for short. We help fuel the body's natural healing response. If you're tired of taking harmful, addictive drugs that only dull your pain and cause awful side effects, the knowledgeable, friendly staff at Pulse Centers can help you end that cycle.
Call to schedule a free whole body assessment at 423-771-7755. That's 423-771-7755. An automated nuclear missile defense system has suddenly entered into launch mode, and you are the only one who can stop it. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Your team has just been infected with a deadly virus. Your only hope? There, in an abandoned farmhouse. Escape Experience Chattanooga. Handcuffed in a maximum security prison, you have an hour to flee. Escape Experience Chattanooga. These escape scenarios and more at Chattanooga's best escape room, game, and team building platform. Call now. Slots are limited. Register online at escapeexperience.com/Chattanooga. Escape Experience Chattanooga.
The Tennessee Valley's news talk leader. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Sports Talk with Sam Jordan, part 2 for December 7th, 2017. And I would be very remiss that we did not think about or remember our many lost souls that we lost on this date back in 1941 at Pearl Harbor. And to all those veterans, if there are any that are still with us from Pearl Harbor, which there's not many World War II veterans left, but any of our veterans that are out there, thank you for your service, indeed. So just want to add that in. I never got to serve in the military. My father did in the Air Force, and my oldest twin son, James Michael, who is still in the Army. He's been over to Iraq and southern Kuwait, or I should say southern Iraq and Kuwait. And, there's not a moment you don't go by without thinking about our soldiers that are out there helping keep our freedoms and the privileges that we have here in these great United States. And when you've got idiots out there, like over in North Korea, that are wanting to start trouble, practicing firing off missiles and stuff, sometimes you just got to scratch your head there, and it's like, and say a good long prayer for all of our veterans that are out there and what they do for our great country. All right, it is. Phone lines are open right now at 800-8949, 423-800-8949. Tennessee introduced Alabama defensive coordinator Scott Pruitt as the school's 26th head football coach, the 5th in 9 frustrating years, at a 6:05 p.m. press conference this evening in the Peyton Manning locker room inside Neyland Stadium. New Vols athletic director Philip Fulmer said 6 days ago, I mentioned several attributes that I sought to find in the next leader of our football program, and Coach Pruitt meets all of that criteria. And Fulmer took over December 1st, a week ago, succeeding the reassigned John Curry. Curry was not fired. He was just reassigned, relieved of his duties, placed in another position within the athletic department. He was not fired, as some reports have stated. He just came on board in April. So Curry is doing other tasks at hand. According to Fulmer, he is certain that he appreciates the unique opportunity to lead a program of Tennessee's caliber. He's driven to win at the highest level. He will honor our university's values, operate with integrity, and be a role model for our student athletes. Pruitt takes over after being the nation's top defensive coordinator during stints at Alabama in 2016 and 17, Georgia in 2014 and 15, and Florida State back in 2013. He is a native of Rainsville, Alabama, and was a part of 3 national championships, 2009, 11, and 12. On the staff of the Crimson Tide from 2007 to 2012, and was the defensive coordinator during the Seminoles' undefeated national championship season in 2013. So he's actually had 2 stints at Alabama and has been a part of that winning tradition set forth in Tuscaloosa. He was a standout high school coach before joining the Alabama staff as the director of player development in 2007. He played college football at Middle Tennessee and for Alabama. He's a 2-time Broyles. That's Frank Broyles, the former head coach and athletic director at the University of Arkansas, who passed away earlier this year. He's a 2-time Broyles Award finalist that owns a 128 and 31 record as a collegiate assistant coach, and was named the National Recruiter of the Year by 24/7 Sports back in 2012. According to the report, he has coached 34 NFL draft picks and 11 first-team All-Americans. List of players coached by Pruitt reads like a who's who of college football's top defensive standouts this decade alone, and includes Butkus Award, the nation's top linebacker winner, in Reuben Foster, National Defensive Player of the Year in Jonathan Allen, top 10 NFL draft picks, including Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Floyd, Mark Barron, and D. Milner, and current NFL stars HaHa Clinton Dix, Dre Kirkpatrick, Lamarcus Joyner, and Telvin Smith. Pruitt served as the defensive coordinator and inside linebackers coach during his second stint with the Crimson Tide in 2016 and 17, leading an Alabama team that topped the nation in scoring defense and advanced to the college football playoff both seasons. Prior to going back to Tuscaloosa, he was the defensive coordinator and secondary coach for 2 seasons at Georgia, during the nation's guiding that number 1 nation's pass defense in 2015, and leading a squad that finished in the top 20 nationally in scoring defense, pass defense, and total defense in 2014. First defensive coordinator job for Pruitt came at Florida State in 2013, where he also coached the defensive backs. Seminoles led the nation in scoring defense, 12.1 points per game, pass defense of 156.6, and interceptions of 26, en route to a 14-0 record and the BCS National Championship in his lone season with the Garnet and Gold at Florida State. He served as the defensive backs coach at Alabama from 2010 to 2012, helping the Crimson Tide win back-to-back BCS National Championships in 2011 and 2012. So, with that impressive resume for Jeremy Pruitt, the Tennessee Vols' new head football coach. So we welcome him aboard with open arms, and hopefully he can get things turned around. You know, like I've said earlier, you know, the Vols have got talent. They really do. They had a lot of injuries and stuff, but the one thing that I've never understood, Tennessee's had a good program up until the middle of the 2016 season, and then things just fell apart. This year, it just never seemed like it got started. There was a couple moments of brilliance, but for the most part, you could not win a game when you really needed it, and especially against a team like Vanderbilt. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Vanderbilt, but my words, when the records are similar and Tennessee has got more talent than Vandy, should have won. I think that we could have done better with LSU the week before that, but Brady Hoke, who was the interim head coach, just couldn't get it done. Maybe, the team was just resigned to the fact they were just going to stink it up and stink it up well, and they did. First time at Tennessee, never won a Southeast Conference Division game, ever. And then after Butch Jones was dismissed, John Curry trying to put his thumbprint on a major hire, just bungled it in every sense of the word. And finally, with the Schiano fiasco that happened, where he was announced and they didn't have everybody signed off on the deal yet. And evidently he took a unauthorized trip to California to meet with Mike Leach, the current Washington State coach. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back in the eyes of Beverly Davenport, the UT chancellor, and just said enough's enough. There was a lot of embarrassing comments that were being made across the country, and we've talked with various sports writers or broadcasters, here on the show. Grant Merrill from over in Arkansas and up in Pennsylvania with Corey Geiger from the Altoona Mirror, who covers a lot with Penn State. And it was interesting to hear the comments coming from Pennsylvania because of the Schiano tie-in, because he was a part of the staff when Jerry Sandusky was running the defense at Penn State and when the sexual abuse was going on. And, Corey thought from his interviews or discussions with individuals across the Keystone State that, people down here in Tennessee were just using Penn State as an excuse because they didn't like Schiano. And that may be the case, but, when I've talked to people around here talking UT football, that I never heard that come up, ever. And I talk to a lot of people, not just when I'm out and about doing sales calls during the day, but when I'm in meetings and stuff, we get talking sports, natural conversation. I never heard that from anybody, that they felt that, they were using Penn State as a scapegoat, with Schiano. They may not have liked him. They may not have liked him when he was at Tampa Bay, which he only served 2 seasons down there as their head coach and got ushered out rather quickly. And, he was very successful at Rutgers, and he's currently successful defensive coach, actually a defensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, it's not like he doesn't have the talents in leading a program, or at least part of a program, but it is what it is. And, Jeremy Pruitt getting an opportunity to make his mark on his own. I mean, yeah, he's going to have help and stuff with other assistants. And, of course, you got to have the players. But evidently he's got a pretty good recruiting record as well in finding top-notch defensive talent. And it'll be interesting to see if he can get some of those commitments that decommitted to Tennessee because of his talents that he's been able to show at Alabama twice, in Georgia, and at Florida State. Can we get Cade Mays back into the fold? With the young man from Notre Dame High School, which let me flip back here to find his name. And I apologize for not knowing right off the top of my head. That, Cameron Wynn, wide receiver. If they do bring in a Hugh Freeze, will he be able to bring top recruit back for the class of 2019? Will the alumni and the boosters get behind Coach Pruitt? There's been so many things that have been said out there on the national level. We really need to get our best foot forward and, look ahead let's don't look back at all the misery or, the bad expressions that have been given in regards to Tennessee football. Let's start fresh and move on. While we're talking SEC, the all-freshman team was announced. Missouri placed the league-leading 5 selections on the SEC all-freshman football team that was announced earlier today. That was voted on by the league's head coaches, who were not permitted to vote for their own players, I will add. Missouri, with 5 selections, 4 SEC schools placed 3 or more members on the all-freshman team. Georgia and LSU were represented with 4 selections. Florida had 3. Missouri's Larry Roundtree III earned 2 selections to the all-freshman team. He garnered recognition as both as all-purpose athlete and a return specialist. Georgia's Jake Fromm, an SEC all-freshman team honoree at quarterback, was named the SEC's Freshman of the Year yesterday. So Tennessee on offense had Trey Smith. Let's see here. That was it. They only won. So Trey Smith getting accolades for the SEC all-freshman team on the offensive side. Let's see here. Georgia. Andrew Thomas and Solomon Kinley on the offensive line for representing Georgia. Jake Fromm, of course, at quarterback. DeAndre Swift at running back for Georgia. And that pretty much takes care of the Georgia contingent. For all you Bama fans out there, they had on defense, linebacker Dylan Moses. Special teams, they had Henry Ruggs III as a return specialist. So that was representing Alabama. Our good old friends over in Fayetteville. Let's see here. Looks like Devion Warren as a return specialist for Arkansas. So that was the only one from there. LSU had Sadiq Charles as part of the offensive line at LSU. After that, Kelavon Chasen from LSU on the defensive line. Greedy Williams, defensive back for LSU. Zach Von Rosenberg got special teams honor as a kicker, or rather a punter. So that took care of the LSU contingent. So Ole Miss had DK Metcalf as a wide receiver. Let's see. Mississippi State had Errol Thompson as linebacker on defense. Also, Jace Chrisman, place kicker for Mississippi State. And other than that, that was it from the Mississippi schools. So quite a contingent. Albert Okwuegbunam from Missouri for tight end on the all-freshman team. Tristan Castillo at center for Missouri. Larry Roundtree III for all-purpose. And as we mentioned, also with the return specialist duties. Trey Williams on the defensive line. And that rounds that out. Let's see here. Texas A&M had Jahaman Osborne for wide receiver. And Anthony Hines III at linebacker. And that took care of the contingent from Texas A&M. Florida, Malik Davis, running back. C.J. Henderson and Marco Wilson for defensive backs, both coming out of Florida. That took care of that contingent there. And Auburn had Nick Coe on the defensive line. Big Cat Bryant also on the defensive line. And that pretty much takes care of things for Auburn. So South Carolina had Jamiest Williams for defensive back. And I think we've got all the schools covered. So interesting to see Dylan Moses being the only one on the defensive side coming out of Alabama from Coach Pruitt's crew. And Auburn having a few players along with Florida on the defensive side. So, Pruitt doing a good job. Evidently, Kevin Steele over at Auburn, the defensive coordinator there, who was in consideration for the Tennessee job, having a couple players being named to the All-Southeast Conference All-Freshman team. So that's just on freshmen. So that's not representing the entire team and all their other awards that were handed out. So congratulations to those, and especially with Trey Smith from Tennessee being the lone Vol on that list. All right, let's talk a little bit of other college while we've got some time here. Lee's number 9 Lee women's soccer team, senior standout Summer Lanter and Mackenzie Brooker were named to the COSITA Academic All-America team earlier today. Lanter garnered second team honors with a 3.89 grade point average as a nursing major and was named a D2 CCA and USC All-American, D2 CCA and USC All-South Region, and Gulf South Conference Player of the Year. She finished her final season with the Lady Flames with 20 goals, 8 of those scores coming in Lee's 6 playoff matches. She is from Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, ending her career ranked 7th in program history in goals scored. Bricker was named to the Academic All-America third team. She boasts a 3.95 grade point average as an accounting major. Bricker was a major force in helping the stingy Lee defense allow just 0.65 goals per game. It's less than a goal a game. Bricker was also a force offensively in several set pieces for Coach Chris Hennessy and the Lady Flames and tallied 6 assists and 1 goal. And 28 of the 33 members of the 2017 COSITA Academic All-American Division II women's soccer teams have at least a 3.90 GPA. 14 student athletes maintaining a perfect 4.0 GPA. 12 members of the first team have an average GPA of 3.93. That's amazing. Lee ended the season ranked number 9 in the final NCAA Division II Top 25 poll after advancing all the way to the Sweet 16 and capturing the program's first Gulf South Conference tournament title. It's the Lady Flames' highest season-ending ranking since joining Division II as an official member in 2015. So congratulations to Lee and the Lady Flames. NAIA has announced that the 2017 Men's Soccer All-America teams on earlier in the week. The NAIA All-America Committee consists of Men's Soccer Coaches Association Executive Committee, National Championship Games Committee, and 4 men's soccer coaches. Each team, first, second, and third, consists of 11 members. Santiago Moore represented Dalton State there in Georgia, collecting honorable mention All-American honors. And it was a bit of a surprise considering Moore led the NAIA in assists per game with 1.0, while also ranking in the top 5 in total assists, number 2 with 18. In total points per game, he was ranked 3rd with 2.67. Moore was also in the top 10 in total points, ranked 7th with 48, recorded 15 goals, winning the SSAC Golden Boot Award. And the Missouri Valley sophomore defender, Uris Illich, was honored as the Men's Soccer National Player of the Year. He's from Serbia, leading the Vikings in goals scored this year with 7. And he helped Missouri Valley reach the title match of the national championship. It's the first member of the Vikings to win the award. He was named to the all-tournament team as well. Oklahoma Wesleyan landed 5 individuals on the list, 4 of which were first-team All-Americans. Hastings, Nebraska had the next most with 3 individuals on the list. The 2017 Select Sport America NAIA National Coach of the Year will be announced at the United States Coaches Association National Convention coming up next January 16th to be more precise. So hopefully we'll have more news to let you know about in regards to the college sports. Remember, Keon will be off tonight and will be off until Tuesday. So if I'm not mistaken, we've got Alex Jones, I believe, coming up here at 7 o'clock to take you till 9 tonight. And Two Millennials Talking, I don't believe is going to be on tonight as well. So you'll have a double dose of Alex Jones, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll be back with you tomorrow night talking sports, talk about some local action, hopefully, and a lot more. And we'll try to give you some more details on the Jeremy Pruitt hire throughout the day tomorrow on the sports updates here on Nooga Radio. Until tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, actually 6:07. Have a great evening and a great day tomorrow. We'll talk to you again with more Sports Talk with Sam Jordan on Nooga Radio 92.7, 95.3 FM HD4.
95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM.